In the last 10 minutes, Deutsche Bank CEO is out. Big Pharma deal. Markets calm in the last half hour. Deutsche Bank retail president chosen for CEO amid losses. Deutsche Bank replaces CEO John Cryan with Christian Sewing in the last hour. Facebook. Deutsche Bank. Rusell, CEO daily for April 9, 2018. Deutsche Bank stock gains as new CEO points to further job cuts in the last 2 hours. New CEO aims to end Deutsche Bank's losses. New CEO demands hunter's mentality in the last 4 hours. Deutsche Bank's new CEO faces familiar questions over strategy. Why Deutsche Bank replaced CEO John Cryan after less than 3 years. Deutsche Bank shares up after new CEO talks. Tough European markets open higher. Deutsche Bank chooses new CEO. Deutsche Bank taps Christian Sewing as CEO, replacing John Cryan. Deutsche Bank investor discusses the company's new strategy under new CEO. Crisis hit. Deutsche Bank ousts British CEO in a bid to get back on track. Deutsche Bank ousts British CEO after 2-week boardroom battle. The Deutsche Bank share price climbs after it replaces CEO John Cryan in the last 6 hours. Deutsche Bank ousts John Cryan, names Sewing as CEO. Deutsche Bank to review investment bank business. New CEO Christian Sewing. Deutsche Bank's new CEO plans investment banking review. Deutsche Bank ousts CEO Cryan, names Sewing as CEO. Deutsche Bank must regain hunger for business. CEO Sewing says Deutsche Bank names new CEO. Deutsche Bank's new CEO sees tough decisions ahead. European markets seen higher. Deutsche Bank chooses new CEO. Deutsche Bank to review investment bank business. New CEO in the last 8 hours. Deutsche Bank replaces CEO as German lender struggles to find profits. Earlier today, what Deutsche Bank's new CEO could mean for New York Commercial Re. Deutsche Bank appoints Christian Sewing to succeed John Cryan as CEO. Struggling. Deutsche Bank dumps CEO John Cryan. Deutsche Bank appoints Christian Sewing as CEO, replacing John Cryan. Deutsche Bank's CEO John Cryan replaced by Christian Sewing. New Deutsche Bank CEO fails to fill strategic void. Deutsche Bank picks retail specialist Christian Sewing as CEO. Deutsche Bank replaces John Cryan as CEO. Deutsche Bank replaces CEO amid losses and lack of direction. Yesterday, Deutsche Bank set to replace CEO John Cryan with retail bank chief. Crisis hit. Deutsche Bank replaces British CEO. Deutsche Bank names Christian Sewing new CEO. Deutsche Bank shake-up as Christian Sewing is named CEO. Deutsche Bank replaces its CEO, indicating scaled-back future goals. Deutsche Bank replaces CEO Cryan with Sewing. Deutsche Bank taps Sewing to replace CEO Cryan in reorganization. Deutsche Bank seen replacing CEO Cryan with Sewing. Christian Sewing named new CEO of Deutsche Bank. The latest. Deutsche Bank CEO Cryan out. Sewing in. Deutsche Bank replaces CEO Cryan with Christian Sewing. Deutsche Bank names Christian Sewing CEO. Christian Sewing to become new CEO of Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank preparing to replace CEO John Cryan with retail banking head. Deutsche Bank picks insider Christian Sewing as new CEO. Sources. Deutsche Bank is leaning toward Christian Sewing as next CEO. Deutsche Bank to make Christian Sewing new CEO. Source says Deutsche Bank favoring Christian Sewing as new CEO to replace John Cryan. German media. Deutsche Bank's CEO Cryan to be replaced. Deutsche Bank to replace CEO to put top German lender back on track. Christian Sewing to become new CEO of Deutsche Bank. Source. Crisis hit. Deutsche Bank to push out British CEO Christian Sewing to become new CEO of Deutsche Bank. Source. Deutsche Bank Sewing to become new group CEO. Source media. Deutsche Bank CEO Cryan to be replaced by Sewing media. Deutsche Bank CEO Cryan to be replaced. Troubled. Deutsche Bank to push out British CEO. Report. Deutsche Bank likely to pick retail head Sewing as CEO. Christian Sewing to become new CEO of Deutsche Bank. Spiegel. Christian Sewing to become new CEO of Deutsche Bank. Report. Christian Sewing to become new CEO of Deutsche Bank. Spiegel. Deutsche Bank board to discuss CEO decision on Sunday. Deutsche Bank faces pressure to address CEO succession plan. Deutsche Bank searching for replacement CEO. Deutsche Bank board to discuss CEO and make decision on Sunday. In the last 7 days, Deutsche Bank will review CEO's future at meeting Sunday. Deutsche Bank chairman to hold call with board over CEO. Sources. Deutsche Bank chairman to hold call with board over CEO. Sources. Deutsche Bank chairman to hold call with board over CEO. Handelsblatt. Deutsche Bank board to discuss CEO succession plan. Deutsche Bank is under pressure to resolve CEO's fate in days. No luck for Deutsche Bank as it trawls for new CEO. Zam sounded out as Deutsche Bank CEO by recruiters. Matt Zam said to be sounded out by recruiters as Deutsche Bank CEO. 2 major investors criticized Deutsche Bank chairman over CEO search. 2 large investors criticized Deutsche Bank chairman over CEO search.